My nearest Walmart is 75 miles. The nearest trauma center is Bismarck. It's 75 miles. We're out in the middle of nowhere.
Commuting's tough when you have a family.
This is our community we live in, about 80 to 100 people, and you notice we're standing in front of our community Walmart or Kmart, we used to call it, because of the fact that we are a long distance from any of our major services. I'm Burdell Johnson from Tuttle, North Dakota. I farm and ranch in the area along with running an insurance business and insurance agency here in a very beautiful rural area. We have a small community here of about 80 to 100 people. Not only my personal business, but also the insurance business that we're operating for the American sheep industry. Without these services, it probably wouldn't be existing here. It would be setting us back 30 years. By having the internet service that we did, I was able to pursue a master's degree online, and which helped with the move of the business here into North Dakota. I would not have a master's degree if it was not for the internet.
My name is Sherry Fisher, and I live in Wing, North Dakota, and the population is about around 100 to 120 people. I actually work for Aetna Incorporated, which is a worker-home position. Aetna is a health insurance company. Without the high-speed internet, my system is going to be extremely slow, and I wouldn't have the capability of keeping up my production. I have to do 10 claims per hour. If it went away, first of all, it'd be very devastating to me as a person, and as a mom for a family, it would be really hard on our family, because then therefore I'd have to either look at different options of not having this job, because it just wouldn't pay for our family.
My name is Mary Ketterling. I'm from Zeeland, North Dakota. Our farm is located about a mile south of Zeeland, right on the highway. Zeeland is a town of approximately 80 to 100 people. I had to commute to Bismarck every Monday morning in order to work all week at my job. On Fridays, I would head on home and spend the weekend with my husband, help out on the farm as much as I could. Monday morning routine, back to Bismarck I'd go and work all week again. I actually use the internet as a means of taking my courses online, as many as I could, so that I could save myself the time of driving, be home, be an integral part of the farm here, maintain my full-time job, and still get the degree I needed to start my business. Having a degree now has provided me with, an opportunity where I open my own business, and I'm very self-sufficient now.
I'm Tracy Keister from rural Steele, North Dakota. I live about 10.5 miles south on a ranch. I do advertising and promotion right from my house. I commuted to work in Bismarck for 17 years, and it was a full 1-hour drive, about 56 miles door to door. It was very taxing on vehicles, very taxing on my family life, and my advertising business was blossoming into something that I could foresee it advancing. And so in December, I was able to quit my job in Bismarck and go full-time here at home, and it was unbelievable. But I couldn't do what I do without the high-speed internet, because that's my main communication is through email with my customers. That's how they send their material to me, and that's how I upload my stuff to the printers. So without high-speed internet, there's no way I could be home with my family.
I'm Laura Shipley, and we live at Steele, North Dakota. We live in a rural area. We live about 11 miles from Steele and about 50 miles from Bismarck. And my husband's a farmer, and we also have an electrical contracting business, Shipley Electric. I don't know what we would do if we didn't have internet service with our business. I think it keeps us on a level playing field with the cities. We have access to everything they have access to, and we're able to keep up with them and be competitive. Specifically, when the guys are out working, if I get a blueprint that they need to see, I can email that to them and they can pick it up on their phone. And a lot of times these are large files that I need high-speed internet to send to them. We're required to do a one-call locate, which notifies any of the utilities in the area of where we're going to be digging. And so using the one-call locate system on the internet is awesome for us. Being able to stay home and work from home is really a positive because I don't think I'd be able to work away from home on a daily basis. Right where we live, we're 11 miles from the closest town. We're 50 miles from Bismarck and about 60 from Jamestown. And so being able to work at home is just really an awesome benefit to us.
I'm Annette Weisenberger. I live in Tuttle, North Dakota, and I work as a medical coder for a hospital in Bismarck, North Dakota, which is about 50 miles from here, and so I have a home office. I'm connected to my place of work via a terminal server, and this requires a low latency, higher bandwidth speed than most applications. I pull up the data via my home computer, assess each patient's chart, figure out the reimbursement, and then send all the information back to the hospital. I have a coworker who isn't able to get high-speed internet. She is using a satellite version, and she has a lot of downtime, which is sort of frowned upon, of course, because of fog and rainy weather, and then she will just have to wait until that clears until her satellite actually works. And so I'm really thankful that I have the online service. I'm rarely, if ever, down. It would be devastating to me if I didn't have the internet. I would have to drive 100 miles a day round trip to get to my job. And in the wintertime, I can't even get out of the yard sometimes, so it would not be a good thing.
My name is John Richter. I'm from Linton, North Dakota. I live in south central North Dakota along the Missouri River, 60 miles south of Bismarck. I'm in the high-tech business. I have been in technology for 20 years. About 10 years ago, I made the decision I wanted to raise my family and I wanted to live out here. And was fortunate to have a company, Great Plains and Microsoft, as we were purchased by Microsoft Corporation about 10 years ago, that worked with me to figure out how we can make that arrangement work. So I'm about 50% remote, if not a little bit more. The reason I'm able to make that work is directly through the high-speed internet that I have through BEK. For the first year, I struggled with originally was dial-up, was basically couldn't function from a communications perspective. I just tried satellite internet at that point. They spoke highly of it in their marketing and advertising. They just don't have the bandwidth. It's to me wasn't much better, if any, than dial-up for internet access. So all you hear about satellite and all the marketing and communication about it just simply doesn't work in rural America. It's not an option. Even at its best time, if a storm went over, if there was any type of bad weather, you just couldn't even rely. Even as slow as it was, you still couldn't even rely on it being up. So I'd be in meetings, and I basically had to try to work around the weather and things like that. It just wasn't functional for me to do so. Without the internet in my business, clearly I wouldn't be able to function out here. This would be just kind of a getaway vacation for me out here versus being able to raise my family and be around my family.
I'm Carrie Stroh. I live on a farm south of Tappan. I'm the executive director for Northern Plains Sustainable Ag, and we are a multi-state nonprofit education group that does education on sustainable and organic agriculture. From my home to the office, it's 112 miles one way. I travel to the office 2 days a week, and I work from my home 3 days a week. Through the internet, I can attach to my computer at work. I communicate with my members in the tri-states pretty much all by internet. Our members that are using satellite internet often are slower. The connection isn't as good a quality as what we are receiving on our end. If I wouldn't have high-speed internet, I wouldn't have my job.
I'm Katie Pinky from Wishick, North Dakota. Wishick is a town, small town, very rural located, population 1,100. As we were looking to grow our family, we just decided that moving to Wishick and him, my husband, taking over his family business with his parents would be the best decision. He said, we cannot move to Wishick unless your company, Ad Farm, is willing for you to stay in your role. Ad Farm told me the reason that I could stay or stay with the company and keep my career is if I could get high-speed internet in rural North Dakota. I called BEK Communications not knowing anything about BEK and talked really slowly because I thought I was going to be talking to a small town telephone company that would be providing maybe dial-up service to Wishick. And I said, can I get a T1 or T3 line, a business line to my home in Wishick, North Dakota? And the man on the other end of the line at BEK was very polite to me, but he laughed a little and said, we have broadband and we're 15 times faster than what you're asking for. We took a 70% pay cut. We sold a house in Fargo, relocated to Wishick, really to be the second generation to take over a family business. I would like to think we're adding a lot to the community by taking over a business. If we were to lose that service, number one, I would no longer be able to be employed by my job. The economic impact of that for our family would be huge, and we also just wouldn't be able to educate our children in the same way.
I'm Doug Goring, North Dakota Agriculture Commissioner. I live in a rural community outside of Bismarck. I have farmed and ranched most all of my life, and I am a beneficiary of some of the rural technology that's been made available. Communicate a lot with not only my colleagues across this state, those that are in farming and ranching, but also with agribusiness and also with my counterparts. And a lot of times I'm doing that late at night when I get home because you can't fit everything into your day at the office. And I see those mothers that are at home working and doing some of the stuff around the farm, some of the stuff around the home, are also employed. And they wouldn't have that opportunity to do that without some of that technology, without that type of service being provided. Is it crucial? Is it important? Is it? Yes. It's vital that we have good service and good technology available to the people. And when you look across the country, yeah, there may be a large percentage that live in our urban centers, but we still have well over 40% of the rest of the population are in bread and breakfast communities, they're in rural communities, and they're still the lifeblood of pretty much the country.
I'm Katie Pinky.
John Richter.
I'm Sherry Fisher.
I'm Burdell Johnson.
My name is Laura Shipley.
I am Carrie Stroh.
My name is Annette Weisenberger.
I'm Tracy Keister.
Mary Ketterling.
I'm Doug Goring, Agriculture Commissioner of North Dakota, and we need
And we need
We definitely need
We need high-speed internet.